And as a bright Monday morning, excited and delighted to be united with you again after a very rollicking and frolicking weekend. Welcome to Newday here. The trio is seated. Moon, Seriakis, Bright, Nanamfo.
And our guest is in here too.
Well. Okay, well, yeah. So you should congratulate me.
You're
the
one who does that. Bright is,
don't worry, Bright's always.
And Prof is with us.
Prof, yes, Prof Sabeku Blankson is with us. Prof, good morning. How are you doing? How's the weekend for you? Did you have any fufu?
Oh, no. I just took the normal rice.
Okay.
Right, so Prof is the Vice President of Academic Affairs at the Dean, and it's also the Dean of School of Communication Studies at the AUCC. Good morning, Prof. Yanka. Good morning.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so you're all welcome to Newday. You've seen what we have for you this morning in the next 180 minutes. It's the 24th of April, the year of our Lord 2017. You are welcome, a warm welcome to you. Johnny referred to it as a rollicking weekend. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean,
we can say same on my side. Yeah, next time, in our next live, we should ask God to, to extend the weekend a bit.
The only thing I found exciting was when I saw the minister, the Galamsey. Oh, sorry, not Galamsey minister. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
AKA, you could call him that.
AKA.
I saw him dancing, and I thought, oh, really? We might be getting somewhere.
Yeah. He was excited about the dismissal of the.
Yeah, over the weekend, 9 mining supervisors. He sent all of them home.
Yeah.
I understand that there was also an ex-serviceman who had a pump action gun. Who was also, disarmed.
All right.
And then around the world, very interesting times in France. A lot of us are watching, monitoring the elections that held yesterday. You see, our concern, well, I don't know about you, but my concern is the Trump rhetoric seeping down to some parts of Europe.
Yes,
the point is that a lot of regional blocs are modeled after these, for instance, after the EU.
Right.
So if we have the EU in shambles, if Marine Le Pen, for instance, would win the election, she's Euro skeptic, she's anti-European.
And that's your fear?
Then it means that AU, other regional blocs, had better start taking a look, because that's your future. That's you in the next 10 years.
But the point is that, can they really take that bold step, especially when, we go to them begging?
Okay.
Can we really take that bold step?
Can Ghana take the bold step?
No, I'm talking AU.
Yeah.
I mean, AU, if individually and collectively. No one ever
saw Brexit coming. Okay. So never say never. In politics, you just never say never.
How would you describe what happened in France locally?
They voted against the NDC and NPP.
That's all.
And they
want to change.
Maybe they chose PPP.
Yes, they just want to change.
I didn't say it. Let's start with the Daily Statesman.
It would be exciting if it happened here in Ghana.
But over the weekend, I mean, very sad happening.
I guess.
Yeah.
With the CPP, or the PNC, or the the least likely party.
Yeah. Or maybe IRA gets APC.
Or maybe a
Let's start the newspapers. Professor Blankson is with us. Now, the Daily Statesman this morning goes back to this Mary deal, and it says a Mary deal wasteful. Imani calls for immediate action. That's for me the biggest story on the front page of the Daily Statesman. And also, Accra to become Africa's cleanest city. President assures. Professor Blankson, let's start from here. Look, I have always said that when I see these screaming headlines, I just read them. I don't even want to read the details, because I can put together 10 newspapers from
recycled information
from 2000 up to now that talked about Accra becoming a clean city, and yet we are in it. How do we keep Accra clean? Can we simply say it and it works?
No, unfortunately. It's a very important goal that we set to make Accra the cleanest city. If we could do that, or even get close to doing that, halfway through we'll be okay. But
so for it is only a goal?
It is a goal. It is a goal. Now the key thing is, how do we put it into action? As you all know, here we are known for talking.
Yes.
But when it comes to doing, then that's where the problem is. But it's a good goal. It's just that we all have to rally behind it and see what we can do to help.
And the point is that it's actually possible to accomplish. We've seen this in Rwanda, in Kigali. So, it's just sad that we seem to have measures and policies, always formulated, but we just can't seem to implement them, to execute them.
The way Kigali went, or Rwanda went, they started with the ban of plastics. You remember in 2015 when we had a June 3 disaster?
Yes. Right.
President Mahama
Yes.
announced that we're going to ban plastic below 20 microbes.
Yes.
And then some industry people went to say, no, if you do
Yes,
it,
agitated.
we're going to lose.
Yes.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
We still have plastics.
Okay,
And now,
so willpower,
to even think that
political
we
will.
have beverages now being manufactured in plastic
Right.
bottles.
Right.
Are we winning the fight?
So apart from setting the goal, which you said is good, how do we start this?
Well, I think it starts with a political will.
To do it?
To do it. Our leaders need to be committed. That's what, in other parts of the world, that's what it is. The leaders set the agenda, then we all follow. So it starts with the political will. And unfortunately also for us, the population, us, we have to understand the implications of having waste all around us, especially our health, the environment, and if we lose sight of that, that is where we keep trashing our own backyard. Because sometimes even when you're walking on the street, somebody's right there downstairs would put all his trash and dump it right in front of his or her door. Now, what does that tell you? It's the mindset. The mindset
So
is
attitude
not ready.
is key here.
So attitude, the political will with attitude, and of course the resources to do it. So
Yes,
those
but-
three are very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And as regards attitude, I think, Prof, that there will always be recalcitrant people in society, and that's why there's a need for the law. You see, the authorities have to crack the whip on people who are recalcitrant, who go against the law. Otherwise, I mean, if you're going to leave it to a group of people, it just might never happen. But that's why we have leaders in place to enforce these.
But this is coming from the president, and I think that the people who
But
honored
we've had-
him
we've
with
had-
the
we've had
title
this over and
Ni
over
Kweku-
again.
Ni Kweku Oboade Okunjiaman. So I hope he's going to fight and
Like Bright said,
You know
we
why-
went
you
through
know
the
why I'm
dailies.
smiling?
Yeah.
Why are you smiling?
Because when Johnny says this is coming from the president, I quickly will want to do a recall and go back to Mr. Rollins, who actually descended
Into
into
the
the
Nima
gutters
gutters.
and cleaned it up.
In
And yet,
fact, President
into the
Mills
same
also
squad.
descended into the gutters
Exactly.
while Mayor Van der Poel looked on clapping. He was the mayor at the time. He was,
So let's see how
was
it goes. As
applauding.
Prof said, if the will is there and attitudes will change, then maybe we can get
And
to a
resources
point.
to
the
do it.
resources
Right.
to fix the problem.
But by the way, how far with the dredging of the Odo, do you know?
Well,
has it stalled?
The Punch this morning says, fight against Galamsey, president ought to be commended. Prof, again, let's look at this one. It's a fight that we have started. I said I saw the lands minister in a dance over the weekend. It's excited, at least we have started from a point. Commendation for what we're doing?
Not yet. I wouldn't be quick to do that, because at this stage, I think we need more than just what we are doing, because this is a very serious. It has a very serious implication to our environment, our health, our very survival, our very existence. And so I'm just going to be a little harsh on this, because it's dear to all of us.
Right.
And I drive to Takoradi and I see some of the rivers, and it's horrible. So I think it's too premature to give any credit to anybody at this stage. We haven't seen any action that it's creating any impact yet. Maybe those who are very close to the solution have seen something that I have not, but I'm not going to be quick
Well, we've seen quite a number of excavators, for instance, seized.
Well,
I
over
think that
500
a journey
of
of 1,000 miles
Yeah.
really should begin with at least, a good step. And so I think that there must be a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because if you want to, over the weekend, I had Ochehene, Sergeant for Amita for a penny. And truth be told, if you, for instance, arrested armed robbers, you'd want to disarm them of their ammunition. If you want to disarm Galamseyers, what you want to do is get rid of their excavators. That's their machine.
But the question I've been asking, and which Prof would ask Prof is, we don't know the totality, the number of excavators that are out there. So if you tell you,
or
we're
maybe
taking
we do
500
because
off.
they found their way into a port some way, somehow. Maybe
Prof.
we do. We just aren't privy to that information.
We should look at the short-term goal
Yeah.
and the long-term goal.
Right.
The short-term goal, have we even gotten close to it? I don't know.
What is
but
the
long-term?
short-term?
Long-term is to get it.
The minister talks about the short-term goal that Prof is referring to. The minister talks about the advocacy to get people to help
To know about the challenge.
So
That
at
has
least-
been ongoing for a while. I think we're beyond the short term now.
Let's get into
No,
the long term.
I don't think so. Because the short-term goal, and even the long-term one as well, You need to get the people on the ground, the local people involved.
Okay.
They are the ones who are helping and doing and hiding all those kind of equipment. I was talking to one of these people in charge of these Galamsey issues. And actually, apparently, a lot of them are kind of standing by, hiding their stuff to see if we have the political will, the sustained political will to do this, and if it doesn't, they come back. That's the nature of human beings. You know,
That's true.
when there's pressure, you relax a little bit and see if the pressure relaxes, and then you come back. And that is my concern. So what we need to do, I believe, is to get the local, those who are actually on there, involved in the first, educating them of the importance of what we are doing. The importance of the impact on the society as a whole. Right. You know, and then once they get it, then you can make changes. There are some chiefs that are behind this, they're also sitting back. You know, so all of these need to be, it has to be a very massive, inclusive education on this. Otherwise, we're not getting anywhere.
Okay. So, but Doc, finally, I mean, just about 2-3 actions, and already we see people calling for commendation, and the minister is dancing. Are we becoming complacent?
That's, we are known for doing that.
We are known for
yeah,
doing
we are known for it.
It's either complacency or a pat on your back.
All right,
but we will do that.
I have left Galamsey. Let's move on to the business day story. Tighten your belt. Economy looks gloomy. Roads, schools to suffer. Photograph of the president and the finance minister here. Prof, so we're told about the economy that the current government inherited, the fact that it wasn't too good. The business day is just reiterating that statement. A gloomy economy, and so do we see efforts from the current government to take us out of this picture?
Well, I think the economy that we have is from reading some of these newspapers and hearing what the president and his team is you know, they are talking about. It's gloomy, and I agree with that. Now, what do we do? The next step becomes important, because we like the blame game. I mean, the past president is gone. Regardless of what we say or blame him, it's gone. So I'm very much interested in what policies will get us out of that. Because if you look at the policies that the government is setting up, these are all, by the way, this current administration has a lot of business people on it. So I have the level of confidence that they can at least push us to the next level. And so I commend the president and his team at least for, but let's get going and stop looking back and things like that.
Prof, I take some of these with a pinch of salt. Have we ever had a new government come in power and say, oh, it's such a bright economy, the prospects are amazing, the previous government did amazingly well? No, so this is just, you know, again, this is recycled words. We're going to hear this in the next 8 years if the NDC comes to power, in 8 years or whenever.
4 years,
whichever it is. I take it with a pinch of salt. I can't even be bothered.
But keep in mind, it's framing the issues. They're trying to frame the issues. They're trying to set the agenda for what they're going to do. Okay. So in order to allow the public or let the public appreciate what they do, they have to look back and say, look, this is what I inherited. So at least keep that in mind as we move on.
But Prof, so is it not surprising that at the inauguration ceremony, the president mentioned it. At the State of the Nation address, he mentioned it. At the reading of the budget, it was mentioned. Why do we mention it again when we're launching planting for food and jobs?
And I can guarantee you.
What's the consistency?
This is not the last time you're going to hear about this.
Wow.
He's going to mention it.
All right. That's what exactly Woody said. All right, Prof, we'll come back to you. But one recalcitrant guy
whose team is off everything now.
Off what?
Well, I mean,
I don't know the football. I don't know the game you watched last night. But then if you say whose team is off, I really don't get you.
His TV was black and white.
I'm sure. I am sure, Mune. I'm sure his TV was black and white. But then I'm sure Bright is a happy man of
I watched the match.
Yes.
Not a very good game though, but I think I was excited.
2-1 over Sporting Miran.
Yeah, not too good for me. I think Miran is not a great team. Haas should have had a cricket score, but well, we won, so we'll take it like that.
But really, Ash Gold are finding things very, very difficult. You know, they're making things so
CK
difficult
is
for
unable
them.
to help
and then CK Akono, you know, since he took over the team, he's not been able to win a game. And as a quite
Ash Gold.
Ash Gold,
Oh,
yeah.
so Galamsey
What's
is
the name
involved.
of the team?
Asokwa Deportivo.
They are deportees.
Asqua.
Not Deportivo,
Asqua
but Deportivo,
Deportivo.
because when you go to Spain, there's Deportivo La Coruña
Of
in
course.
there.
This
So
one
they
is
picked the
Asqua.
Deportivo and added it to Asokwa because the team is from Asokwa.
I told you there's a team in Ghana that I like so much. Paga Japan Stars. I like that team,
Paga
yes.
Japan
Yes,
Stars.
I like
And then again, Indiana Stars, who are second on the Ghana Premier League, that lose to 11 Wonders by 2-0 in the MTN FA Cup. Quite surprising for a lot of people that the way Indiana Stars are doing so well in the league, they would lose against 11 Wonders. So I'm sure that 11 players on the pitch did the wonders for them. But then in England too, the action was really, really, really good. But even before we go to England, Kwesi Appiah has begun work. Even before his official, you know.
How are the people responding to him?
Oh, responding to him very well. He was at the Elwak Sports Stadium watching the game between Inter Allies and then Liberty Professionals as well, where Liberty Professionals did beat Inter Allies by 4-2 to qualify to the next stage on Sunday too as well. He was at the Accra Sports Stadium. And this is a man who is showing commitment.
To do what? He went there to do it.
He went there to watch the game because he will be handling
No,
because
what
he
will
will be in charge of the local Black Stars as well.
Okay, all right.
And even before the man begins work on May 1st, he has shown the step
so
that
pessimistic.
yes, that I am here to work. And even before my official appointment starts, I have started the job already.
He did all of that before. What happened?
Okay, right, Afre. So he's
Who did all of that before?
Afre, he's
Yeah,
starting for the
yeah.
local Black Stars.
Yes,
Also,
yes.
when is he starting the
May-
scouting for the foreign Black Stars?
You see, the point, and that is the issue that we drummed all the time.
Because
you know,
we're not interested in local
no,
Black
no,
Stars.
no, we are interested. We are interested because we want to see our players progress from the local Black Stars into the main Black Stars itself. That was one of our biggest problems when we were going to the Nations Cup, when we said that how come our best player from the league, Latif
Isn't
Blessing,
on the field.
was not part of the team that was going to the AFCON.
Okay.
Avram Grant decided that he was not going to do that. Avram Grant hardly monitored players. You could count the number of times Avram Grant monitored players on the local
Okay, so
team.
Kwesi has started well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's from your point.
And then again, in Spain, I was driving that to Bright because Bright has issues. He believes that Kwesi Appiah won't succeed. But then for most of us Ghanaians, we want to see our own and our local coach, you know, do well with the Black Stars. Then again, yes,
Just rubbish you right
yes. And then again, when you go to Spain, your Clásico was something else. You know, it gave us everything that we wanted to. And a last minute 92nd Lionel Messi goal wrap that things for Barcelona. I know that Johnny is not happy about that. But Barcelona did win on Barcelona did win on the day. Yeah. But in the FA Cup too in England, Chelsea and Aston Villa through to the finals of the FA Cup in England. So interesting things that happen all over the world.
Chelsea is up
Correct me
there.
if I'm wrong. I thought I saw a headline about something about tennis. Serena, did she win the Australian Open?
No, she did not
she
win.
didn't. She lost?
She's pregnant.
Of course, she's 5 months pregnant.
Yeah,
okay.
she's pregnant.
try.
So we won't see her compete in all the major Grand Slam tournaments
Yeah, of
for the
course.
rest of the
Makes
year.
sense
You know,
for
we wanted to
family.
see her do more. You know, she's
35. This is
she
her
has
first
passed a
pregnancy.
record of
She
Steffi
wants a
Graf
baby.
of 22 Grand Slam titles. She's on 23, but we wanted her to extend
The
it a bit.
biological clock is ticking. She's 35.
Okay. All right.
All right, so I'll see
She's going to break a lot of hearts because people go to watch
to watch
you know,
her.
everything else apart from
Everything.
the golf.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah, apart from the golf.
I understand
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
mean because
the
I know
shots,
she hits very hard, and when
With
she
the
jumps,
sound.
you know.
Afre, we're
all right.
grateful. Regards to Kwesi Appiah.
I will
wish you
tell
well
him.
for
I
that.
will tell him. I will tell him.
Okay, all right. A quick look at the heritage and then we'll move on. The story here on the front page, $2.25 billion bond will, the row will scare investors. That's the Ghana Bankers Association warning. That's the president, Alhassani Andani here, warning that it could or it will scare investors. Prof, let's start from here. There's controversy about this. The government says this. The minority in parliament seem not to agree with what the government is saying. And so the bankers are thinking that this could scare investors away.
Well, politics and business, two different things. What may be politically expedient and worthy, you know, may not be necessarily financially rewarding
Right.
or even attractive to investors. So in this case, and one thing that we don't do well is to sit down with investors to discuss these things. I don't know to what extent or how these policies of this bond issue was even crafted out, but obviously it tells me from if the main investors are kind of worried about it, it means they were not involved even in any discussions as to anything like that. Now, I see it from the government's point of view. There's so many reasons why this bond is they are pursuing it. But from the investment side, and especially for people who are bringing in foreign investment, it's a little bit problematic for them because of they are looking at the projections, they are looking at the advantage, disadvantage, weighing the cost and benefit and all of that, and they don't see that as a viable economic intervention for our economy at this point.
All right, let's touch on this one too. The find that this morning also talks about the Planting for Food and Jobs program. It says ADB sinks 450 million cedis into that program. Photograph of the MD of the bank on the front page of the Finder. Prof, this is a good policy. We're told that it's not anything new, except that perhaps this is being taken to another level. Yeah. ADB sinking money into that program. Good or bad?
I think it's good. Anything that is going to make us self-sustaining, at least to some point, I think it's a good move. It reminds me of Operation Feed Yourself. I was a little younger then, and we all rallied behind it. And I remember us planting things even in our own backyard, and it helped. So food, agric is very, very important. That's our livelihood, that's our economy. And so any effort to strengthen it, I think we should support it. And so I think it's a good thing. Now, my only concern that is what type of agric are we getting? Are we getting big scale, small scale, sure. Slash and burn, peasant farming? Because all of those have certain roles they play in the economy. So I would hate it for it to be a few people, buying machinery and stuff with a chunk of the money and benefiting from it.
Major concern raised by some persons is that this is ADB's original mandate, but who gets the money? Is it going to be a cumbersome process to be able to access the funds? And how will that stall the project, in fact? What do you think?
Right, and that's what I was saying, that it depends on who is getting the money, the funds, and who is actually, doing the planting.
Exactly.
Because if the goal is to encourage and boost the small scale, farming, the peasant farmers, so that they can produce the cassava and the things that we all depend on, and actually the resources, the channels, all the little things that needs to be put in place are there. We should be, at least we should see some benefit out of it. But if as usual, and that's the challenge that we have, as usual, some big guys will see opportunity, and all of a sudden pick it up, and by the time you realize 5 people have all the
So the inception of the African University College of Communications gave my sweet GIJ some bit of a challenge at the starting point, but we're still in control. What's happening at AUCC? Tell me about it.
Well, AUCC, we are starting what is called a Communications Week.
All right.
It's the first of its kind, and so we want to be pioneers in it. And so GIJ, we're going to push you to the side, but we invite you to come and participate. We have a lineup of activities that we want to start every year. Do it. One of it is to the main thing is actually the research part that I'm very interested in. If you are aware, student research are usually sitting on the shelf, and nobody gets to know about it. And in many cases, they are also not connected to our community or industry, organization, or institution. So what I did when I took over is to change that. And so for the first time, I asked all the students to get out there and look for projects or research that can benefit society.
Relatability.
Exactly, and practicality as well. So the relevance of research to our society needs to be connected, and that's what we are doing.
Doesn't this stem from those who are mandated to supervise these theses, really? I know that in every university, every lecturer you know, as soon as you become a lecturer, you get a chance to supervise somebody. You may not be qualified necessarily to be able to vet it. Is that not our problem?
It's part of the problem. I wouldn't say it is the main problem, but you know, the caliber of the supervisors or the teachers we have, it's always been an issue, and but you can't use that as an excuse not to do anything about it. You know, so what I've challenged my faculty is all of us should work together, and I've personally been involved. For the past month, I've spent, you know, more than an hour per group, and I have about 54 groups of students. Now, the important thing that I'm very excited, these students get the opportunity to present their work to the public. So, and again, in the, you know, if you look at all the institutions, they present in front of faculty and that's it. No, that doesn't make sense. So we have on Friday in the afternoon, they would, you know, present all their
public
work,
show
of their work, and you get opportunity to come and cover it and come and ask questions, especially. So the public get to interact and engage. And I've also challenged some of them to actually go out there after that to go and present their work to the client or the person that group that they work with. So we do have groups working with the community, the chiefs, you know, a lot of organizations actually tapped into.
They should do something about the filth that's engulfing all of us. But
and actually, one group is doing work on with Zoom Lion.
I see.
To do creative work on
Prof.
that.
Isaac Abeku Blankson, grateful for your time. He's Vice President of Academic Affairs at the AUCC and the Dean of the School of Communication Studies as well. Prof, I wish you well.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Take a quick break at this point. We'll return shortly with some more. Enjoy.
Good morning, I'm Wendy Lai. It's time for the news, and let's focus on mining. And all 9 mining officers at the Minerals Commission will on Monday, which is today, be asked to proceed on leave. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Peter John Amewu, blamed the level of destruction of illegal mining that has been caused to lands and water bodies on their negligence.
Over 2 months of inspecting some mining areas across the country, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources has expressed disappointment at the extent to which Galamsey has destroyed the country's water bodies and the earth's surface. The latest of such inspections was led by the Minister John Peter Amewu and his 2 deputies and the Director of the Minerals Commission, Tony Obin. The focus this time was on the Western region, where the team had the first-hand information on the extent to which illegal mining has destroyed River and Cobra.
To all the mining officers working at the Minerals Commission, they are all proceeding on a leave immediately. 9 district mining officers in this country are proceeding on leave immediately.
Earlier, it was observed excavators used for the activity had either been parked on the site or in the community. The minister has given a 30-day ultimatum for all the excavators to be removed from the communities. Subsequently, excavators used for mining will be licensed before getting to site.
It's clear they have stopped the activity, of course, which is good, but these mining excavators are still parked close by to some of the pits, as you witnessed yourself. And we are saying that the intention for them is to return, and it's clear, everybody can conclude by that. I'm giving them another 30 days to move those excavators from these various places back to wherever they bring them from.
Now, away from that story, the Fire Service says is yet to gather the actual cause of the fire that destroyed properties at the Coconut Grove Hotel. Head of Public Relations of the Ghana National Fire Service, Billy Anaglate, confirmed preliminary investigations point the fire started at the TV station before spreading to other parts of the building.
Journalists were not allowed to go beyond the main entrance of the hotel. Personnel of the fire service were inside, salvaging what is left.
We will be able to narrow, based on all other information that we gathered, that the fire started from one of the TV studios. And we want to examine all other remains of the fire. That will give us what exactly triggered off the fire from the studio. So that is what we are doing, to see what exactly went wrong before the fire started from the studio.
Head of Public Relations, Billy Anaglate, refuted claims Fire service did not get to the scene on time.
The public were of the view that there were tenders that were coming without water here. It's just unfortunate in the sense that they were not able to find out before going to the press to broadcast all this. Technically, it is wrong for you to be fighting fire when you exhaust your water in the tender that you are fighting fire, to move it out, to go and look for water and come. So what we did yesterday is to position tenders at various strategic points permanently.
Public Relations Director of Group Indom, Richmond Kilson, assured the public everything is under control. Meanwhile, the immigration office that shares a wall with the Coconut Grove Hotel was also affected by Saturday's inferno.
And there's a thin line between Dr. Andrew's place and our place. At my back, we have a poly tank that got burst because of the heat. A poly tank that got burst. But later on, I got to know it was four. It was four which they are trying to replace. Then we have a container office. The top was burning, so our people had to bring in fire extinguishers, about 10, which we have within the premise to put the fire off.
Officials were seen trying to put the place in order as debris and other wood-based materials fell into the compound.
Let's move on to other stories. And more than 100 members of ICU, including its General Secretary, Solomon Kote, nearly turned away after being met with heavy stench at the Pantang Hospital. The members who had gone to the premises to present some assorted items felt disappointed and insisted on pushing the Ministries of Health and Environment to ensure decent workplace for the staff of the hospital.
Numbering more than 100, the members of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union converged at Presec, Legum, to present their items. They brandished placards and moved through the streets to present their assorted items to the Pantang Hospital. However, upon arriving at the hospital, the members were greeted with this deplorable road at the main entrance of the hospital. They again felt a strong stench emanating from the dump sites closely located around the Pantang Hospital. This nearly forced the team, including the General Secretary Solomon Kote, to stop the presentation.
Sit for about 5 minutes, it welcomes you. It gets you feel nauseated, and if you don't take care, you can even throw out. It's that bad.
So what will you be doing as a national union?
Well, we have indicated already we'll get to the Adenta municipality and then try to see whether we can even link the AM, even though it is not in that jurisdiction, because it's a major task that we think they need to join forces to get it, cleared, or get a safety way of actually managing this fuse.
A senior medical director at the hospital, Dr. Livian Jima, felt frustrated about the stench.
We are happy that ICU has also experienced it through the visit and have made appeals to the powers that be to at least take a second look at it and see how best to improve. Either there will be a recycling plant that will overtake the activities of the refuse dump so that the hazards that come with it will not be experienced by the residents around this locality.
Meanwhile, one major concern to the management of the hospital is the inadequate subvention to manage the hospital. In 2016, the Pantang Hospital received 180,000 cedis, while in 2017, the hospital has received 380,000 cedis. Of major concern to them is a delay in the passage of the airline on mental health. The hospital again complained about encroachment and the poor road network in its premises. Later, the disappointed members of ICU presented their assorted items worth 10,000 cedis, including 200 beds to the hospital.
We are even planning to adopt a ward so that every year we will come and then make sure that the things that they need we are able to supply.
In a related development, the hospital organized a health screening to check the blood pressure and eyesight of the members.
Well, that was very interesting, I should say, especially for a Monday morning. Well, this is where I say goodbye, but I'll hand over to Bright Moonen.
Did you hear the Onapo in there?
Forget the song.
Residents around that area have always complained about that landfill site there. A couple of times they have actually tried to reach some authorities through the media.
But it seems nothing.
What is happening?
Nothing has been done about it.
And I have seen a couple of times Zoom Lion go in there to try and deal with the issue there. But let's hope once it's been raised again, we'll find some.
Must we always keep rubbish somewhere?
Landfill sites are no more.
Yes, we've gone way beyond that.
Yeah.
It's a globalized world now. Why are we not refining and recycling rubbish? Rather, we're heaping them somewhere.
Like the way Bright has recycled his look. Who inspired it, Bright?
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Who inspired
Over
it?
the weekend, I ran into an Equia
Moon.
That's why I
Stand by. Stand by.
On the mountain.
In the valley.
Well, have a good Monday and see you later.
All right,
take care.
George Quayne is out there ranting with the folks, asking about planting for food and jobs. Is it going to be a 9-day wonder? I don't know, but what do you think? 9-day wonder?
Look,
are you going to start farming?
you know, I am not. I'm the least pessimistic person.
Okay.
I saw some statistics last year by the Ghana Statistical Service, and it said that between 2016 and 2018, agric will grow at an average rate of 3.3%. So clearly, the sectors of industry and services have pushed out agric as a major contributor to our GDP. I think that at a point in time, we just have to accept that it's not an agricultural dispensation. I think at a point in time, I don't know when that point is.
Society.
I think we're losing it.
The president says there's going to be a lot of improvement for rice, for sorghum, for maize. He put up percentages.
We'll live to see.
Wow, okay. Let's check out what George Quayne and the folks out there are ranting about. Enjoy.
President Akufo-Addo has launched the Planting for Food and Jobs program. The program is expected to create 750,000 jobs in both direct and indirect employment. In furtherance to this, the prices of fertilizer has also been reduced by 50% to ensure the success of the program. But today on Daily Rant, we want to know how sustainable is this project. This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
A fine idea, but obey now. Chimara, a woman about to us. Say, obey, and I say, be a bit to us correct. A bit to me about be a met to us, papa, dear, and to me. Because if you be a met to us, and Yamanu and to me move. This on obey, and I say, it's good idea or the balance of idea. Not so moon, so maybe a nipple or no mayor Jumano, and look at dream part, a better Juman and turn a Juman between Jina, Ama, na Ejina.
Depend the pana obey you on my Jina Hono. Once a human all kind of account, and so it be a human leaders in our Mudia Nimuno. It be our Monty, a human or Monty.
At least agriculture minister, we saw become be here.
And our back will be moments so on uncle be. Well, and so it be a village baby, obeying Crawford be say on the bay leader. Leader and boy, a human baby, I acquire 10,000 a year. Say be our flower case at 10,000 norma. And so it be our Obedu on us and 10,000. Who's that human intimate cost? O man panyin do obeka ne saade ebe hu se obo se wa ka na in general na ye adwuma so obekwa kodu baby na ye adwuma
me say me free village na ba ha se ohun wo ye adwuma no kra na edu baby kra na obi anto adwuma no ohun adwuma no beba na me tomato se adwuma na me ye no ye village but ebedu no obi anto ohun enti se obi nipa ne se obi anto a obe dey na we dey wa ye adwuma na ma dey ohun enti se brebia no ma o mani kọ akuafo no so no mu se bia se na dey ye dey adwuma no akwakosi because you say obey adwuma me ye nto de me mitimi ye say adwuma no
woni say sa program we remember nkofom be fi e krase so be page mo papa wa akra no etu betwa woni say e betimi onabasa
e etu betwa pa say obabie ama other villages ni nkara ye nuan nkuma na say ansa na etu betumi atwa ne say omu nyina no omu kakra wa omu pe no e call regular omu kakra o say ni see e be ma o see o ye adwuma na income no ko na e baria o metumi st but omu ye adwuma na say bibi pa omu enchifu bibi pa mfiri mu na say omu nya mu ntoria and then to Mr. Mesan ba adwana back to Accra wa be hustle
say e basa e ma ye wo village ngo tuma Accra me hustle wa say adwuma ne kudi yen sebe yen krase wona ebeboa class for na won so won both on fi class backra e ma aka ya tight baby a o mother kra no munye yimi na nti say adwuma ba kra mu a ebeboa sin yes beti wo akra
ebe jai moment so say na ka say ade bia ni yeyem say yeye nko ade a mafo be jai say bebele kra betima firi akra me say yeye kwa metima firi akra za ko ye adwuma ebe say ku adwuma no say manage ho so enam onye pianfo ntino ontimi ye ku adwuma no say aban bi aba so betima bo ku adwuma ma tima yeye a o ha na ohun se wadwuma na ye kofo ma na obetima akwa akonye bibi papa efiro obetima akọ
no de me family anu so ti abai no momodian no hu se what say o manani adai aba omo ni sanu adwuma kra na se bia bibi sa no so no be better se nipa no be yadwuma me ade ba kwa me hu se wo be yadwuma no be du no
yeah also oye tomatoes tin no man nti hu ni se bia oye na ebuso a na ase ana
obi anto won ba
ebusu ana
ebusu but just nipa no ba so wo boka be 15 million wo be wie kra no bia wo nya be 5 million kra
okay on program we edua for edwane ne ejuma nti hu ni se no kwa edwa emema edwane kwa ebu nti ene sa na de wo complain ebe ne so bebe mu ana
eno no bebam eno no de bebam but se basa na e se aban na nkasa no mu hu se bia se bibisa no duru honom na obema nkrofo ba beto adwuma no obema nkrofo ba beto aduaba no ne ade no eno no de better because adwadifo no obi won ma oba ade no yeto no wansi dia ohun se abape obeka to se obema be what say 50%. Na se wo kana wo boy ni nyina no unya ho interest bia nti basa na wo aduduade na wo dua no wanya fa cho bia vision nti wuti won ma wuti akura se wa ade adwuma na be
mpempi project bi baso a 1 year na eden article na we ni me hu se fertilizer prices no ye twem 50% to ensure say sa program we ebe gina ne nan so hu ni say eno so be boa
because fertilizer you know mo kan dey no kwasem ni e was too much man kan try na me boa because 1 million fertilizer auto fertilizer kura be 1 million ya enye easy masa auto fertilizer 1 million wo be yadwuma na be duru honum na be duru ba bi no unya seska no unya seska no na we wo dia ate wo ka no e bia wo ko bob sia wo ba bi na wo de kokoye sa adwuma no but unya seska no ba fertilizer and so man ba from kra bebre kra cause time e free say me free say ye adwuma wo me kra bi mu kakra fa say be 94 no honum no eno no fertilizer na wo fom enti say wo ye adwuma kra na say ya kra na unya bibi kakra de efiri but enemu no wo ye adwuma wo ko to fertilizer be 1 million fertilizer be 1 million wo ko ye tomato si anase okudua nyado anase bia okutua bibi sa na ebedu on ti ya nto so a waboka nti fertilizer and say o man ba from kra
tumi no say kofam dia ba me bit me gina man project na aban de ba no yen so bit ma ko to bi ni da ko ye project wo ye class because akra no so wo ska akra ra se wo ko ye okubu project bi wo ko ye fu class a e be tuna boa wo akra no it was hano assistant heading akra san heading papa say ade be chi ade sanya na say ni man e ko anim nti say minya kakra bi a na se wo me ko class me pete koto ha asase bi ni makoye e bi nto sufu bi sana ye kan nti me koto sa fete na betina obi ni wa hweso ha mami
akuaye wo ni say the way heading nti na confirm person from mo nhim na na me busa because e bia obi ewie university or a graduate say na ban betimi aye ama nipa no ne kwan do say ejuma we program we planting for food and jobs no almost baby
kuadwuma ne de obi obeka se kuadwuma din de but enya din sa so wo sika nkwan a wo de be adwuma ne de na de bia na mka se aba ne so de no ho hyima na se sika wo bama eno no wo betima ye abra wo nipa na nkasa na wo ye adwuma wo ni se wo wi a wo benya fa so se na de afri so because wo be ye adwuma wo be bratu agu de ani de me wuntimi nya sa adwuma no nti se aba no so de no hyem na se bia o e bia me boa mo niam bi sei o bia mo wi a me mo korfo ba beto adwuma no nam de amamo fine eno na be boa asne say bi be free baby no aba be ya obedu baby no say ade na eton 1 cedi a ono be ba be ka say 50%. Nti eno no be better say aban no fa no nhyem akuadwuma no fa so bebre wo so
project we aban e dey ba no e be employ be 750,000 only say possible
only say possible because akuadwuma dey ye won fo bebre ho no ma akuadwuma na no ano mo ye adwuma no noa no mo ye ukọ village se ya me no ukọ kumo se ya ye village adwuma mo ya no ho no ba e betima ye adwuma but anna me kan say aban no an say e be du ba bia won fa no honyim kakra na materials no de ye kua adwuma na nkasa no emra fom kakra eno no beboa na obi ade no hwahye me e ba sa na ye nyina e betima kọ se wo ti akra se kura na betima kọ ye kua na kakra no waba
750,000 and you possible to say ebi wom and answer na betumi half of it club betumi a gina no half of divided by 750,000 betumi dividing club betumi gina no she say when you good leadership I will betumi aboa no answer half club betumi gina answer na echi ni ahwene ya betumi akọ.
And so the concerns of the public is that the president should ensure people who are going to man this program have the requisite expertise and know what exactly the whole project is about to ensure that we get the maximum, benefits from this program. If you want to join this discussion, just log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook as News on TV3 and on Twitter as News TV3. You can also send us your comment to our WhatsApp line 050-823-5228. Thanks for watching.
And you can keep the messages coming in right here on Newday on TV3. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll do the review of the front pages, the newspapers, and the tabloids. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back and thank you. Let's check out what's on the front pages of the newspapers. Daily Graphic says, I will make Accra cleanest city in West Africa. President in a handshake, had one with Ni Oblimponko Joababio, Dentist Kofi, popularly known at his coronation in Africa. President says, Ayoko orders Ibrahim Mahama to pay 12.7 million Ghana cedis within 2 weeks. The ultimatum ends on the 8th of May, I'm sure. And IGP urged to wage war against lawlessness. And John Peter Mel says, surrender all excavators within 30 days. Another ultimatum there. We'll explore that. Well, Business Day says, tighten your belt. Economy looks gloomy. Roads, schools to suffer. The Finder says, ADB sinks 450 million Ghana cedis into Planting for Food and Jobs program. Bank of Ghana will not finance budget deficit, Governor says so. And Indum shocked by Coconut Grove fire. Minister on right course with Galamsey directive. Joyce Aisha's former boss at the Chamber of Mines. Daily Guide says Ibrahim 44 bounced checks. Ioko probes customs. I'll make Accra one of the best. Nana. Daily Heritage 2.25 billion bond will roll. Scare investors. Ghana Bankers Association wants. And JUSAC threatens strike. No minister is giving jobs on Facebook, according to Esla Usu, says that one. GPHA terminal deal stokes controversy, the BNFT. And finally, the Ghanaian Times for this morning says police record 177,241 criminal cases. Gunmen strike again as girl 15 dies at Nkonya. Tackle Galamsey vigilantism, other vices, man of God tells IGP. And my guests for this morning to do the dissection of these issues are lawyer Abraham Amaliba. Is a member of the NDC's communications team. Counsel, yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you doing?
Quite well.
Exactly. My source has not come, but it's okay. Honorable Alexander Fenyo Markin is MP for Futu. He's a legal practitioner as a counsel. Yes, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Interesting tie you have there. It's very sweet. The color is.
But have you noticed that the knot is twisted?
Exactly. He says that's how he wants it.
I told you before we came on there.
Yeah, he's prim and proper Futu gentleman.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, you have been invited to Abuachiro.
Oh, we'll come.
Is it not Abuachiro? They said that you had a hand in disrupting it and all those things.
It's a celebration.
But there's information on that.
The man is giving
Abuachiro. Okay, go ahead.
Please, what's happening?
Abuachiro, you don't do that.
What's happening, please?
The climax of it is on the 6th of May.
Right.
That is Saturday.
Right.
But we have Friday evening activities all over in Winneba.
Of course.
Everybody is on board. And I'm taking this opportunity to invite all of you.
Right.
Hotels are being booked. So if you don't book now,
I know, right?
You're not going to.
I know, right? Sometimes.
So if you want to be on your MP's protocol list, come quickly.
Come
and
quickly.
every council has been invited.
Council, will you go? Will you attend?
I just want to talk about the fact that the chiefs had to warn him to stay off. But if I'm going there, I should be assured that he's not a personal non-grantor, so that I will not also be affected by that.
He's the boss of the land, so
have you smoked the peace pipe?
I'm disappointed in my.
Oh, why?
I mean,
that's the news. That's the news item.
That's of the celebration.
I'm just disappointed in him.
Anyway, let's move on now. So over the weekend, and Dr. Indum, we are told, is shocked. Over the weekend, some portions of the regency caught fire, and a lot of people have blamed the fire service for it. I remember that the fire service's boss, Dr. Albert Brangesi, came to Parliament and said that they can't fight fires beyond the 6th floor. Beyond the shock and the initial disappointment, we have not seen nothing yet. Are we in trouble, Lawyer Fenyo Markins?
By the way, it's a problem we have with most of our institutions. They need to be well equipped, because this issue of fire in the country is not the first time we're hearing of this. But the question is fire service well equipped in terms of logistics to be able to fight fire beyond 6 floors and all that? We're getting high-rising buildings in Accra. Do we even have helicopters to do?
They've been asking for that.
Yes.
I know.
So I'm sure that this is an important matter for the state to consider. You know, so that as quickly as possible we get them what they need to enable them discharge their duties in such critical situations. So I am for the call to equip them logistically and make them more effective than the basic fire tenders that they have and all that. Also, I'm not too sure whether there is leadership at fire service now, because we've been hearing of the complaints by workers, fire service. You know, at least I saw a petition in my posts in Parliament. You know, so I don't know whether those matters have also been resolved. But under normal circumstances, it's expected that they would have the kind of leadership that would motivate the staff to enable them do what they're supposed to do. Let's see how things turn out. But it's unfortunate that Papa Kwesindom's property had to suffer. It's sad, you know. But the joy also is that no life was lost. That I was scared. I watched it on TV, and I thought maybe the hotel, and just behind them we have
TV3 was the first to break it. So
very well, yes, I watched it on TV3.
News.
I watched it on TV3. You have BNI headquarters right there.
Yes.
You know, you have immigration.
Exactly.
So you can imagine if things were had gotten out of hand, the effects and all that. So let's see. But we hope that the right things will be put in place. And also
by the right things, Council, I'm tempted to come back to you.
Yeah.
The National Chief Fire Officer made the statement in Parliament to a select committee, and it was on live TV, that these are the challenges they have. Nothing has happened really.
Yes, and I was a member of the committee, Defense and Interior. That's why I agree that we need as a nation
what are we lacking? Why couldn't we? What is missing?
Well, we've not made it available. The simplicity. If a state institution
important to us,
I'm saying that
because since then we have procured some other things. So why not the things to save life and property?
Of course. So it comes back to the issue. Have we really prioritized issues regarding some state institutions and what it would take for them to do their work. We know what happened even at Shraj.
Right.
And Iyoko also lost some documents. Okay?
True.
Because fire service could not get there early enough to assist in, you know, putting off the fire. The point here is that it's a wake-up call.
Right.
If the man said it yesterday and it didn't really get our attention, today there's another incident. So I'm sure that the authorities...
Have we woken up, Council?
Oh, we should.
Okay.
We should.
But you're not sure if we are waking up or not?
No. The question is, have we woken up? If we have not, then we should.
Okay.
Because we have high-rising buildings. What happened at Dr. Indom's place could happen anywhere.
Can we respectfully task you, because you are in Parliament, to raise it? I mean, you're very vocal in Parliament, to at least table this matter in the House. The Speaker says he will not be just the ordinary Speaker, but he will be the Speaker that will initiate things. Can we respectfully task you?
I'm still a member of the Defense and Interior Committee of the House, and I'm sure many other colleagues have interest in it. Would collective, it's a national issue. So without even your call, I'm sure that when we resume, we would have the opportunity to discuss it. Meanwhile, I'm sure that the leadership of our committee, Defense and Interior, knows about this, and we as members would always go along with what leadership decides. But it's an important matter for all of us to look at it without any partisan blame game here and there, because we need to address it. If fire service is well equipped, I'm sure that we would all be relieved.
Okay. Abi, let me come to you.
Yeah.
Property has been lost, but jobs are also on the line. And we are told consistently by the World Bank that we have a deficit of employment. Here we are told of how many people don't have jobs, and yet the few who have jobs may be on the verge of losing their jobs. Is this worrisome, according to you?
Let me start by saying good morning to your viewers. Luckily for us, what you are talking about has not come into the picture yet.
Right.
I heard the PRO of Group Indum indicate that the offices in that building would open today, the banks will open today, the Gold Coast Security will also open today. So
is it just not doing PR?
No, I don't think so. Because
if the office is raised down, where would the people be going to work to sit?
No. If it's a matter of fact, if today you go and they are not working, you'll see. So until we get to that point,
I'm thinking that because there's a financial institution, he thought that he had to settle the doubts of the people, because people have their investments there. And I may be wrong.
Yeah, and I'm saying that this cannot be wrapped under the table. If he says that work will resume or work will continue and you get there today, you can send your newsman and work is not going on, then you can take him on.
Right.
But for now, nobody's losing his job, and that all those who are supposed to go to work still have their jobs.
Absolutely.
But you see, the retooling of the Ghana Fire Service is a continuous process. In the past administration, fire tenders were procured.
54 of them.
Exactly, were procured. And so we had made some giant steps. But we need to do more. And I agree with the Chief Fire Officer if he's asking for more. But you see, my concern is that we don't know yet what is the cause of this recent fire.
We're told that it's an air conditioner.
Oh, exactly.
Yes.
So if it's an electrical problem, my point is that you could have all the best facilities that a fire service could have.
Right.
But our attitude, those of us who manage homes, managing institutions, if our attitude towards these facilities are not the right attitude, we'll still have fires. And so the question is, did the hotel manager notice the faulty air conditioner?
Right.
And if yes, what did he do? In the short term, what did he do? And so, much as we are calling for the retooling of the fire service, I also want us to also step backwards and look at our own attitude towards managing our facilities. I also think that there must be an audit of all public institutions and public places to see whether these institutions are keeping up to the standards in terms of how fire, if it breaks out, how they can even stop it, and how it doesn't cause fire. Because when you go to some institution, you see wires hanging, and that for me does not augur well.
Is that not the job of the fire service if they get there to run their surveillance, to train the people? Is that not their job to tell them? Because one of the issues is actually having access into the place where they were told that because the gate was small and all of that. Is that not their job to be alerting the people?
Yes. So the fire service occasionally go around to do these things.
Okay.
How often do they do that?
And that's even a regulation.
Okay.
Which imposes an obligation. If you want to operate a hotel,
right,
you need to meet all those requirements.
Fire safety.
Yes, without it, you cannot get to
because when you go to some institutions, you'll find a fire service certificate there, indicating that this has been inspected.
Exactly.
But again, I think that we need to do more in that area. We need to ensure that our buildings are secured in terms of fire outbreak.
Right.
That for me is also what would help to curb these fires. Yeah.
Let's get into some other issues. Ibrahim Mohammed's 44 bounce checks. The Quagmire gets mired. Now GRA, Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, is being dragged before Yoko to answer some questions. Council, is this getting murkier?
Well, let's first look at the law and avoid the politics.
Right.
So what does the law say? And what is the practice at customs? The practice at customs, as I know, as a businessman, is that when you get your items in, you have to pay through the bank. So you pay, you go and do a banker's draft, or if you have a cash, you go and pay. You don't pay directly to Ghana Revenue Authority. You pay to the bank, and then you say, go with your receipts as evidence of payment. Your agent would then proceed to clear your goods for you. Now, if for some reasons you don't have money to pay, I think immediately we have the bonded warehouse system, where you'll be sent to the bonded until such a time that you would move it out and then you would pay. That arrangement is there. And then also where you want to stagger payments, you want some relief. I think in 2004 or 5, when I brought in some equipment and I wanted to proceed on that line because we didn't have money, we had to apply to the Ghana Revenue Control Board. There is a board that would look at your application, and then they can offer you some, not a relief per se, but they can allow you to pay in installments. I must say on record that eventually I did not pursue it, though I wrote, I didn't. So I know that's practice. So in the case of Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, we are told that he issued personal checks or checks from his company. I'm not too sure which of them, but once they are saying it's corporate, so he issued checks. If he issued checks, was it an acceptable procedure, as we all know? It is not. That customs or GRA will accept checks. In any event, the checks were duly received. Well, a check is as good as draft, provided it goes through. So,
but in this instance, it didn't go through.
Yeah, I'm coming to that point. The checks were issued, and then they were presented, and the checks were bounced. He never redeemed them. So now, if the checks were issued, presented, and they were bounced by the bankers of Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, did he make any effort to redeem same? Per the records, no. If the answer is no, then the question is, did he have an intention to deceive public officers? Did he have the intention to issue dot checks, the checks with the intention of deceiving them, you know, and all that. We in our criminal code, if you issue a dot check, it's an offense.
Right.
So was that the intention? If it was on the intention and that there were some other reasons as excuse, then he is the best person to explain.
Right.
Now, we are being told that there was an arrangement. Which arrangement we don't know. Arrangement to pay later, or arrangement to, as it were, he was expecting some payment from government. So until government pays him, he would, he would not be able to pay. As for those ones, to be frank with you, they are really, really unacceptable. I heard a colleague MP talking on a station, claiming that, oh, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama had done so much work. He was expecting some payment, and that those payments were supposed to be made within a certain period. And on the basis of that, he issued checks. Come on. These are, you don't say that the state owes you. Or you've executed a contract, the state owes you. So if you don't pay me, then I'm also clearing my goods free. Obviously, one is tempted to believe that because his brother was the president of the republic.
I don't want us to
No. I am saying that you are looking at the reasonable man's view. That ordinarily, customs does not accept checks. Go and pay.
Well, I think there's a caveat to that. You must have an account with either EcoBank or GCB if you want to make.
Oh, not necessarily. The payment system, when your goods come to port, you don't pay. You either do a draft or you go and make a cash payment to an account, and then I think it's even a draft. I mean, I don't think there's a cash payment. It's, as far as I remember. But we know as a fact that customs will not take your check.
Let me quote from the Daily Guide. It says, Daily Guide investigations have indicated that only the sector commander and assistant commissioner can authorize the release of goods at the point of entry in the case under review, the port of Tema, under approved conditions. Customs officials by the operations do not handle cash. The importer paying through the two approved banks, EcoBank and GCB Bank. In case where a company or individual wants to make payments through checks, they must hold accounts with the two banks, EcoBank or GCB. So a quick verification of the status of the accounts can be ascertained and a decision taken.
Well, then that answers it well. So if it's the same bank, then you don't need to do a draft.
Right.
I agree. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. So in that case, we ask the question, were these EcoBank checks? If they were EcoBank checks, did they do their due diligence? I mean, the
verification.
Customs officers, did they do their due diligence? But without speculating, let's stay on the issue. When the checks went bad, we are being told that a year ago, what did he do to redeem? I don't want us to do political twists, merely because Honorable Kennedy Japan spoke about it and said that, this must be investigated. If care is not taken, that will become the political twist, and it will be like, because somebody also said that the enemies of Mr. Ibrahim Mahama want him sent to jail, then it becomes a political matter. I spent the last 4 years fighting Iyoko and FIC that, look, do the right thing, follow the law. Took them to Supreme Court, High Court. We fought for the whole 4 years that we don't want you to use the law and abuse him. So I am happy that they have told him that, look, these are bounce checks. First of all, we need money for the state. Redeem them.
He's been asked to pay.
It's reasonable. It is the state security agency is being reasonable by saying that, look, we've granted you bail, but first of all, we want to redeem the money, pay. We've given you this period to make sure that, and I'm sure that before they came to that conclusion, there was a discussion with him and his counsel. So let's wait till the 8th of May, and then see what happens. But we shouldn't politicize
this.
The fact is, the fact is the man issued checks. The checks did not go through. Has this got to anything?
What punishment accrues to you if you issued that checks?
You must go through. You see, I'm saying that there are, when it comes to criminal law, you have the actus and what the Latin is called
mens rea.
Right. So the mens and the actus. So you go to court with evidence that okay, the prosecution would definitely want to. It's not a straight liability offense. Right. Prosecution would say that okay, he issued with the intention to deceive
beyond reasonable doubt.
So you lead evidence, but I'm saying that those are matters for trial.
Okay,
I can't sit here and say that you go to jail. He's committed an offense. If we are talking strictly law, then let's first look at the evidence. What explanation does he have?
Okay.
The bottom line, they say refund, payback, not refund, redeem the checks.
Right.
You've been given a window of ventilation. Take advantage and do it, rather than some other persons trying to do a political twist.
Maybe this matter, it doesn't seem to be going away, and now this is where we have gotten to. 8th May ultimatum. Is it realistic?
You see, he said we should discuss these things devoid of politics.
Right.
But he did some politics in it.
Tell me about it.
He said, with the kind of arrangement given to Ibrahim Mahama, one can read some meanings into it to say that because his brother was a president.
And I told him that we won't go there.
Yeah, I just want to remind him that the fact that
yes,
it doesn't matter.
If you want to quote me, if you want to
doesn't matter.
We will go there.
You have sipped. You have sipped.
No. I am asking
the political talk.
Oh, come on.
You said that we should discuss this devoid of politics.
Right.
Then you go ahead to say that because his brother was a president? That for me is veering into
because the checks had gone bad over a year.
Yes.
And the GRA is seen not to have any other document to say so.
I would also
then we proceed with your
argument. I would also ask those questions in a political way.
No problem.
You see, Iyoko, what is their business first and foremost in trying to even deal with this matter? Because when you look at the modus operandi and the operations of the Iyoko, it is supposed to be an organized crime unit.
Okay.
Now tell me, how does issuing dart checks be termed as organized crime?
Point of law, counsel.
How does it?
The objects are there: fighting financial crime.
So how does this? No, how does this?
So are you suggesting that
fighting
Iyoko doesn't have the locus to Section 3 of the Act? Section 3 of the Act is clear.
For me, it is clear.
Section 3 of the
dart checks is a criminal act under a Criminal Offences Act.
So who must act?
The police. All over, you have seen the police dealing with dart checks. In fact, when you sit here and issue me the dart check, it's a matter for the police. Time memorial.
But
and I'm saying that they are wading into this smacks of some harassment.
For example, so is it not true that for over a year
I am not talking about that. I'm saying that the offense of issuing dart checks is provided for in our Criminal Offences Act.
Absolutely.
And the police has always dealt with these matters. Private citizens like you, if you issue a dart check to your plumber, it's not Iyoko that must come into it. The police will deal with it. Everybody watching us knows that since time memorial, the police has been dealing with issues of dart checks.
Council is mentioning Section 3
I am saying that it doesn't fall within.
It doesn't fall within.
It doesn't fall within. Is this organized crime? Is this organized crime?
Okay.
How is Ibrahim's issuing of check, a dart one, amount to organized crime?
44 checks.
It doesn't matter. I'll come to that.
Okay.
Now, the point is this. There has been an arrangement, which arrangement has been enjoyed by other businessmen, not only Ibrahim.
For example?
I should be mentioning people's names here.
For example, maybe you're the one saying that.
But you expect me to mention Alaji this and this, who is a contractor that way. Has he given me authority to do that? I know this arrangement has been there, where businessmen are allowed to import equipments, and then because they are going to use it for government projects, they strike a deal with the GRA, so that when government pays them, they will now pay the GRA, and that's why those checks were issued.
So why is the GRA now being dragged into it?
I'm coming. So Iyoko proceeded on a wrong note when they were even asking for his passport. So don't think that whatever Iyoko is doing there is right. He has said that he has sent Iyoko to court. They can get their procedures wrong. Their procedures could be challenged. So don't say, why did they call GRA there? GRA will go there and will explain their part. But with the Ibrahim case, this facility was granted to Ibrahim. And I indicated to you that even not only Ibrahim, but we have other businessmen who have taken advantage of it.
You are not ready to mention them.
I won't mention them.
So let's stop making reference to them.
Is it proper to even sit here and mention their names?
So let's stop making reference to them.
No, I'm not making reference to anybody. I'm saying there's a facility. I'm making reference to a facility which is enjoyed by
but
businessmen.
Until you are able to prove to us who benefited from it, then what are we doing?
So, see,
you are talking about the fact that
let me flow?
on Newday, hold on, I asked the questions here.
But you didn't.
I did. You are talking about on Newday, who has benefited from being on TV, and we mentioned Alexander Afenyo-Markins, Abraham Amaliba, and other names. And you are saying that that facility exists. Some people have benefited. I'm asking you, who and who has benefited from it? Is it wrong for me to ask?
It is wrong because I don't have their permission to come to national television and mention their names. But the facility is there.
Right.
So I'm making reference to a facility that can be taken advantage of by businessmen, which Ibrahim was granted that facility. Now, when you look at the storyline of this case, you will notice that because government failed to provide and pay for the services that he has rendered, those checks could not clear. So the understanding is not for Ibrahim to pay upfront. The understanding is that as and when government pays you, as you do the work, we will take that check that you have given us.
And these are the facts that you're stating?
Yes. These are the facts. At the Iyoko. Question is, why did government at a certain point failed to pay for the services rendered by Ibrahim, which in effect rendered him incapable of paying GRA?
Then someone would ask, okay, so he had the benefit of this facility, and for a year the checks hadn't cleared, he had cleared his goods, and he was not raising red flags.
If you raise red flags, you raise red flags with the authorities, with the Ministry of Roads and Transport, no, roads rather. And so if he has raised red flags with the minister, you don't expect that he will come out.
But if somebody, if you're a businessman, and perhaps Mr. Afenyo-Markins as well, if you're a businessman and somebody is holding on to your money and is virtually running down your business, don't you speak up?
Don't we have contractors in this country who are being owed by government, and these contractors have gone to the ministry and the ministry is saying that they should hold on, hang on? It's similar to Ibrahim's case.
For you see nothing wrong with Ibrahim Ahmed's case?
No, the point is that this arrangement was given blessing to by GRA. I'm gratified that Iyoko is inviting GRA, so GRA can also give them their side of the story. But hold on, why is government not also paying Ibrahim for the work done, which has resulted in his inability?
The money was owed yesterday. The money was owed over a year
I am
ago.
talking about government.
Right.
Government is government.
Beautiful.
Why is government failing to pay Ibrahim, which has rendered the agreement with GRA ineffective? That for me is the question.
Right. That's the question. You had a quick rebuttal.
But you see, the larger picture,
I thought you were ended.
The larger picture has to do with the fact that it appears that whenever there's a change of government, we, as a nation, we have not come out of it. We target our businessmen and make them look like criminals. This is somebody who imported machines to work for government. Why do we want to, as it were, deal with him as if he's a common criminal, when indeed This arrangement is there for all of us to see.
All right, thank you.
That is why people are saying that.
So was that why the NDC foot soldiers went to picket at the Yoko office?
No, they were there to solidarize with him. If you pick me,
okay,
and you send me to the police station, my wife, my children will come. They are not coming to picket.
But you are a lawyer.
And
when everybody is invited to the police station or arrested and people throng there, is that the right thing to do?
The police should be able to cordon them off, even in the courts.
But that's a security installation.
I'm saying that the police should be able to cordon them off. When they went there, did you hear that they had engaged in acts that are unacceptable?
Regardless, you don't picket without authority.
No, well, they are not picketing. They went there to solidarize. And I'm saying that the police should be able to.
They went there without authority. It's not.
You don't need authority to go and solidarize with somebody who is in conflict with the law, who is your relation, or who is your brother, who is your friend. You don't need a law to do that.
So anyway, okay. Interesting.
Well, I just wanted to draw attention to the object of Yoko.
Okay.
Yoko is not only charged with investigating organized crime. They have the mandate,
okay,
to even investigate child trafficking or human trafficking.
That is organized crime. Organized crime.
Allow him to.
Organized crime.
Allow him to ventilate his
Okay, let him finish.
I beg you. They have mandate to investigate issues of fraud.
Right.
They have the mandate to investigate matters relating to financial laws to the state. There's a whole range of extended powers that they have. And they have the power on the authority of the AG to prosecute. So council should not say that organized crime properly so-called and that issues that relate to losses to the state, financial crimes against the state cannot be investigated by the police. In fact, they have been given the powers of the police per the Act 804, and he can verify what I'm saying soon hereafter.
All right.
Now, on the point, let's get serious. You see, this attitude of our friends in the NDC, where they trivialize.
I don't like us to go that tangent.
No. Because that is the point they want to drum home. Is there any such agreement on paper that you bring equipment in and that when you are paid by the government you also pay yourself?
Exists.
There is no such thing. I want to put it on record and I should be quoted.
Okay.
I should be quoted that Afenyo Makin says that there is no such written agreement between GRA and engineers and planners that specific equipment being brought in for specific government jobs, until government pays him, he is not going to honor his obligation, tax obligation to the state. I want to be quoted, and that is what is on the record.
Amaliba, is there a written
there should be no. They are rather doing political twisting. If the man had issued checks for payment of duties, and same Yoko says, okay, you've pay. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Right.
Why do you now want to say that it should have gone to police and it is MP and we are killing our business? Give me one single businessman, one single a businessman in this country who, as a result of a change of government, he is being harassed. There is none. Give an example, but I can cite you an example of 2009. And I won't go far. I will use my own self as an example. Where deliberate, yes, I was. He knows that as a fact. Where my trucks were stopped because it is an MPP boy, and where other trucks will be passing and my trucks will not move. Many others, I'm using my example. So don't come and nobody has harassed Ibrahim Mahama. Nobody has.
We need to move
and let's stop this kind of attitude of trying when the thing is there, deal with it. Don't say this and that. Don't be attacking the government.
First, is there a written document to that effect, to the agreement?
There can be a written document because it's a facility that exists and you take advantage of that facility. It's a facility that exists.
It is not true. I was a member of the finance committee.
Wait.
I was a member of the Finance Committee of Parliament. No such regulated
authority.
Oh, come on.
He doesn't work.
They bring their approvals. We regulate. We look at
my submission.
It is not true.
Can you bring it to order?
Let's deal with the facts.
Okay, hold on.
He's trying to scuttle my submission.
I'm not.
So you keep quiet.
Let's deal with the facts.
Now,
Eddie, he says he's the member of
he is not the authority.
But they supervise the activities.
Run your checks with GRA and let GRA
even if you want the relief, there's a committee. You apply. Come on.
So you see, he's changing.
And then they write. They go into agreement.
He's shifting goalposts.
There's a body.
There is a facility.
It's one GRA you deal with them.
You see, I don't want you to scuttle my submission.
You have very little time.
Yes, I'll do it within 30 seconds.
Yes.
He talks about because of a change of government, he was harassed, and that none has happened on our side. He should go and find out the name of Danny Anna, and they will tell him when the Kufuor administration took over.
No, we are talking about 2016. You
what
see,
are you talking about?
You see,
I'm talking about witch hunting. The point is the last point.
You see, you are changing the goalpost.
Organized crime relates to instances where you have people collaborating, and sometimes it is cross-border in nature.
Okay.
Organized crime. So when you talk about child trafficking, because they have collaborators. Outside the borders of Ghana. That's why. That's why.
No, that's why.
He said you're right. He said you're
right. Abraham,
you agree?
Human trafficking.
On
that score, I concede.
My point is that
I
just issuing that check cannot be an organized crime.
But it is part of the object. No, the fraud.
The act of
council. I considered on where I erred, but I'm saying as part of.
He's agreed. The act of just giving.
I concede on the example I gave, but I'm saying that for this specific offense has been alleged.
How organized is this?
No. I'm saying that apart from organized crime, properly so called, if you look at the objects of the center of Iyoko, they have the mandate to investigate fraud.
Yes.
They have the mandate to investigate financial losses against the state.
Yes.
They have the mandate to investigate stealing offense.
Exactly.
And I'm saying that this is a financial loss to the state.
Yes.
At this stage.
Exactly.
Okay, at this stage.
44.
$12 million.
Yes.
12 million Ghana cedis.
Right.
It's a loss to the state at this stage. And I'm saying that the Iyoko has that mandate. And that's 804 as a matter of law. So do not say, because we have BNI. We have police. They have all those powers.
We need to move. I'll let you have your pound of flesh.
Don't do politics with you.
You have your pound of flesh.
You see, you are stumbling.
Okay.
So you have conceded.
Gentlemen, let's
on the matter. Yes, I need
have conceded.
Well, Queenie from Newtown says she loves the New Day on TV3. AU Farouk in Tamale says, good morning to you all. Ibrahim Ama left MPP, plotted Iyoko in joyous mood of vindication. May Allah continue to protect us all from their evil machinations. Good morning. Government had to speed up with process of planting for food and jobs project in the northern sector because we have one season farmers are waiting for. Abdul Razak and Akufo-Addo should make Ghana the cleanest country in Africa, but not Accra. This Alavanyo and Konya conflict is the Ghana version of Israel-Palestine conflict. So all we need to do is to manage it. Even the politicians know it. These gunmen use charms, and so it's difficult for the military and police to crush them. From Tony Dodo, interesting twist you bring there. But the Galamsey menace.
But you see, this is an educated program. We educate people, and we are two lawyers here.
We need to wrap up. Our time is gone.
All what he has said, that Iyoko has power over, is true, except that those offenses must be organized crime in nature. Stealing simpliciter is for police.
Who defines that?
I've told you that it is about having collaborators outside Ghana and dealing with people
not necessarily outside Ghana.
I'm giving you an example. One example.
Who defines that?
It's organized crime is defined. In fact, when you punch this, you'll find organized crime.
If you ask Google,
it's Google organized crime is organized crime. So if it is stealing simpliciter, it is police. But if it is stealing which is of an organized crime nature, it will fall under Iyoko.
And you say at this point,
it is just simpliciter. It's just that checks who has he collaborated with.
Okay, thank you. We don't know yet. We'll find out. But John Peter Melo is giving some more 30 days to the illegal miners to move their excavators that they are hiding in some villages. Why are you looking at?
Because he knows that he's in a difficult situation.
What situation?
He knows he's in a difficult situation. But it's all right.
You conceded here.
You want to.
Yeah,
you see, the problem is that the problem is that look, we have an ex-president who wants to bounce back to be a candidate.
We're not going that.
You see,
okay, so 30 days,
that is your
30 days ultimatum is been given.
That's all
after the first 21 days went by. 30
Mm.
days more have been given, but we know that some excavators have been retrieved. The mining supervisors in 9 regions have been sent home. At this point, are we making progress? Is this what we are looking for?
It's good news, but if you know the modus operandi of these galamseyers, they will tell you that at the moment, it's a period to go underground. And they will resurface. So how do we perpetually control this situation? That's for me. What we have seen now cannot be regarded as having won the war over Galamsey. They've only gone underground. We need to sustain the effort. Now, mining itself, the nature of mining requires destruction to the environment. So what we are fighting is destruction of the environment by people who have not been licensed. But we have people who have been licensed and also degrade the environment. The only difference is that because they have been licensed, they are required under law to reclaim the land. For the Galamseyers, they are in hurry, like Nana Akufo-Addo is in hurry, and so they cannot come back to reclaim the land. And so, for me, the solution is not to ban them. The solution is to create a third tier, which is a medium scale. Now we have large scale mining, we have small scale mining. And medium. Create a third tier, medium scale. Regulate them, give them some training, so that they will not be so, the destruction to the environment will not be so severe. And then they can be in the job. But for now, we shouldn't say uhuru yet, because that's their modus operandi. Anytime you go after them, they go underground and then they'll resurface.
Lieutenant Markins, progress made yet? 1 minute for you.
Yes, I think so. And I agree with him, Abraham, that we need to sustain such efforts. Galamsey, I think we will not get all the time to discuss it. It's a deep-rooted problem.
I'm happy that the president and the minister admit that this is the problem.
Yeah, it is a big problem, and even moving people out of that job, that sector, you need to find alternative livelihood program. And I'm sure that policymakers are putting in place measures to address all these concerns.
1 district, 1 factory.
Of course, obviously.
But if we're stopping it now, we don't have those things in place, then what
no, but government has a budget. We are rolling out the 1 district, 1 factory thing. Last week
in June.
No, last week monies have been released. So there's an implementation ongoing. So obviously government is very conscious of that. You know, Cocoa Board is also targeting 1 million ton for the next farming season, and every effort is being made to encourage farmers to do what needs to be done, including our planting for food and jobs.
Where ADB is saying some 450 million.
The private sector has embraced this whole idea, and that should be a big news for every Ghanaian.
Thank you very much.
We couldn't touch on the promisor president's
I'm sure we can do. We dealt with it earlier, but the president has been given a new chieftaincy title. He's been made a Ghan chief, Ni Kweku Ablade Okujiaman. Congratulations to him. He says he would rid the city of filth in 4 years. Is it a doable promise?
Well, if we pick it from the angle of our attitude now, then there's a problem. What the president is saying is that we should change our attitude. A good environment is good for our health, and it's also good for our economy. You don't want to see your country dirty.
Absolutely.
Do you?
Can we follow the Kigali example? Yes.
But the president should be reminded that a whole ministry was set up for the modernization of Accra, the capital city, and we couldn't achieve anything. So he shouldn't be giving.
So we have a ministry for sanitation now. We have a minister for sanitation.
That's what I'm saying, that he should understand that the tax is enormous. He should go on to deal with the work and stop promising. He's promising too much. He's now Mr. Promise. Promising.
Lawyer Fenyo Markings is MP for Efutu constituency.
You know, he's been
inviting us for the
not to
festival.
Be promising. What's that?
You have been invited to the Abuachi festival.
He is a person non granta in living in his own place, so I can't go there.
Abraham Amaleba is a member of the NDC's
communication. It's unfortunate in this country. Some people say that don't dream. Don't have ambition.
What?
So the president should not say things for the betterment.
He should fix it. He should get on to with the work. He should stop promising. Leave the promises to the sector ministers. This is a president who has promised his way to government. You are still promising. Leave the promises to the ministers.
Thank you,
and
gentlemen.
then get on to the work.
We'll be right back with sports after this one. Don't promise. Well, I don't know what you think.
What kind of promises are that?
On social media, WhatsApp, Twitter, and Facebook.
You now have ministers. So let them be the
Good morning. Welcome back to New Day here on TV3. My name is Anako Jafre with the sports update. It was a massive weekend of action across all sports. And let's begin with the MTN FA Cup right here in Ghana and bring you the results of key games that were played over the weekend. And as you can see on your screens, Inter Allies drew goalless with Liberty Professionals. At the end of the day, Liberty Professionals beat them 4-2 on penalties. Ghana coach James Kwesi was at the Elwak Sports Stadium watching that particular one. Far away in Kumasi, Asukwa Deportivo beat Ashanti Gold 3-1 on penalties after drawing 1-1. While All Stars, the defending league champions, also beat Dark Horses by 2-0. 11 Wonders did wonders against Indiana Stars and they beat them by 2-0. West Africa Football Academy, top of the Ghana Premier League, were on form and beat LKFC by 2-0. Kumasi Asante Kotoko far away in Bekwai drew 1-1 with BYF Academy and then won that particular one 3-1. On penalties. Accra Hearts of Folk were at home at the Accra Sports Stadium. James Kwesi was watching that particular game. They beat Sporting Miren by 2-1. Bechem United also beat Youth Apostles by 2-0. Some of the names you can find in Division 1 and Division 2. Mediama also drew goalless with Fejaya and then went on to win it by 7-6 on penalties. And then Elmina Sharks also beating Dwarfs by 3-0.
Thanks so much for staying there. This is New Day, and the fight is on. Effort to reduce the damage illegal mining is causing the country is on. And of course, you know of media's advocacy as well as what government is doing to stop that. This month, we'll try and take a look at the fight before, what the country managed to do, the challenges, and then which way to go in this very fight to deal with it. My guest in the studio was the chairman of Ghana's National Security Committee of Lands and Natural Resources. He was then also a Director General in charge of operations of Ghana Armed Forces. Brigadier General Daniel Michaud is my guest. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start from here. So, at that time when the idea to reduce the menace of Galamsey, you were in charge, and you were credited with having achieved some successes. Let's start from there. What exactly were you able to do?
I think we have to look at the origin of the whole issue. Back in 2009, it was realized by government that the situation of illegal mining was getting worse. Now, the government directed that a committee should be formed to handle this. And I was made the chairman of the committee. Now, the committee had representatives from all agencies, including the security services and forces. This committee was tasked, actually, to gather enough intelligence, analyze the situation, and come out with a workable plan. And so, behind the scenes, we worked out this, and precisely on the 8th of July 2009, the committee was inaugurated by the then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Now, in order to tackle the illegal mining, we had to look at it from a holistic point, because you looked at illegal mining and then we left out, for example, the forest degradation. But sometimes you will realize that the illegal mining were also occurring in forest reserves. So we had to look at it from a holistic point. And so we looked at the whole issue, came up with a plan, and national security spearheaded everything. They requested the security services to give us personnel to conduct the operations. Now, it's very necessary to underscore the point that with these kind of operations, for it to be successful, the need to know basis is very important. Otherwise, it leaks out, and all those who are involved in this illegal mining, they escape before you even get there. And so sometimes we plan the operations in such a way that the personnel even who were going out didn't know where they were going, except the leaders, until they got there. So surprise was one element that we used to chalk some successes. We did have challenges. And
Let's talk about the successes.
Challenges. Yes.
How successful were you?
Well, we believe that we did our best, but we did not achieve all that we wanted to achieve. But we managed to halt to an extent. In fact, within 2 weeks that we commenced the operations, we arrested more than 1,500 illegal miners. Now, these illegal miners, and I must state that we tried as much as possible not to mention a particular nationality, because different foreigners were involved in it. Foreigners from different countries were involved in it. And therefore, we tried, so we just referred to them as illegal miners. Whether you were a Malian, a Ghanaian, a Chinese, an Indian, whoever we arrested, that's how we classify. I think that is where we have to be very careful not to single out
a single country. Were these 1,500 jailed?
The 1,500 were prosecuted, and I'm sure that the papers at the time showed some of them who were being deported, those who were arrested and being deported. And let me just state that I wish to commend the Otumfo Asantehene, because he came out clearly to indicate that any of the sub-chiefs who was involved in illegal mining will be destroyed. And throughout our operations, no sub-chief in Ashanti region was ever mentioned. So I wish to dab my head for him.
If 1,500 illegal miners were arrested, prosecuted, today, 2017, we still have illegal mining on our hands. How then would you say that the operation then achieved some successes? And why are we back to square one?
At the time, we were making progress. That's what I'm saying. You see, in the planning, what we did was we had our short-term, medium-term, and long-term plans. I don't need to reveal all that because subsequent operations may use them. But what we did do was to try as much as possible to halt the illegal mining. One thing we need to know is that if you take the geological structure of Ghana, apart from the Volta Basin, we have gold from the north to south. And therefore, you can have illegal mining anywhere of the country. Now, there were 4 regions that the illegal mining were so serious. These included the Eastern, Ashanti, Central, and Western regions. These were the regions where the problem was so serious. And so our initial plan was to tackle these 4 regions concurrently, and then later to move to the other parts. And so that is what we did. And our successes that we had, we can credit it to government at the time. We can credit it to the Chamber of Mines, who supported us with logistics, and some of the mining companies. We should realize that The government alone cannot fund all the entire operations. And
to reduce the menace of Galamsey. Government
alone cannot. No. It involves, especially with the situation now, which I call a disaster. I think that government alone cannot do it.
What could have triggered this disaster? We made some effort. What is the cause of what we have on our hands now?
I think I will use two words. One is greed. The other is that we are unpatriotic. Because if we are patriotic, we wouldn't see what we are seeing. There's no country in the world now that you see what you see in Ghana. And interesting enough, China is the largest producer of gold. As of 2015, Ghana was the 10th largest producer of gold. 2016, we are out of the 10th.
You talk about greed and the fact that we are not patriotic. Government says it is embarking on a campaign to use a three-pronged approach. The advocacy which has started, it will go ahead and eventually go into use a militant approach. Would that solve a problem?
I do not know exactly the plans that government has. I'm not privy to that. But I think that, first of all, leadership, committed leadership that is supported by the executive to ensure that whoever is arrested, for example, be the person a minister, a chief, a businessman, is prosecuted without fear or favor. And so whoever will be leading, or the team that will be leading this thing, needs the executive support.
That is key.
That's key to success. And whoever will be within the leadership should also be above reproach. You need dedicated, committed, patriotic people to lead this.
We'll come to talk about the act that is regulating or that is in place to check illegal money. But let me ask you this. Is the fight against Galamsey complex one?
The fight against Galamsey?
Yes.
To me, it's not that complex.
It's not complex?
No, it's not complex.
It's a very simple fight?
It's just like anything that goes on. In fact, it's less complex than if you talk about the drug issue.
If the politician is involved, if the chiefs are involved, if the assembly members are involved, members of parliament are involved, the ordinary Ghanaian is involved, then it must be a complex fight.
It's not complex because the act is there, the law is there, which should be applied. It's only the application of the law that solves the problem. And therefore, that's why I'm saying that. Because if you go and arrest somebody and a minister calls up to say, free the person or leave this equipment, then it's a problem. When they act clearly, the law...
So it makes it complex then?
Doesn't make it complex.
Because the politician who, the one to execute the law is also involved. So they will twist the law.
Well, my thinking about this whole issue is this. For example, at the time I was the chairman, I had ministers involved. I had chiefs involved.
Were you able to arrest them?
Well, they were not directly involved. They were involved. They were supporting. But remember that at that time, the law wasn't like it is today. The law at that time, Act 703 of 2006, made it very difficult, for example. It wasn't even very clear as to
the
what
new
was to be
Act
done.
900, how does it untie government hands in dealing with everyone involved in this, I should call it, nonsense?
Let me just start off by saying that at the time, remember that most of this illegal mining takes place in rural areas, in districts, certain places. Very few take place in cities and places. And so most of the courts that were immediately there were the circuit courts. And the circuit court didn't have enough power to apply any punitive measures or any punishment. At the same time, they couldn't confiscate equipment. Now, this Act 900, empowers the circuit court like any other court to be able to try and sentence the people, seize equipment, in fact, confiscate the equipment to the state. And these equipment which are confiscated within 60 days are supposed to be distributed to agencies, government agencies, and gazetted, so it can go back to the owners. So the law now, the act, if it can be applied, I think it solves most of the problem. That's why I say that, to me, it's not complex. The issue is, who can you get who without fear or favor can get a minister arrested, get a chief arrested, get a businessman arrested. That is what is important.
I see. The Chief Justice 14 or 12 court then is commendable.
Very commendable. In fact, in this respect, I wish to commend the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice has done very well, because we advocated, in fact, we realized that at the time, from 2009 to 2013, we realized that the problem was there, that the law was so lenient and that it wasn't punitive enough to deter people who were engaged in illegal mining. A briefing was given to the Chief Justice, a briefing was given to the Council of State, and today, Act 900 is what we see, for which the Chief Justice, I think, needs to be commended.
I'm grateful for your time this morning.
You are most welcome.
Thanks so much for joining. Brigadier General Mishu was the chairman of Ghana's National Security Committee for Lands and Natural Resources, and then a Director General in charge of operations of Ghana Armed Forces. Grateful for your time this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, so the finals is coming up on the 7th of May 2017, and you know that the children have been doing fantastic, phenomenally well. Check out what's been happening on Talented Kids, the thriving and surviving children's reality show ever to have hit the west coast of Africa.
It was an exciting night as kids performed freely without eviction at the back of their minds. Judges could not come to a conclusion on who to send home and who to maintain on the competition because all 8 contestants had their talents intact. With 2 performances each, the contestants gave the audience double dose. Even though all performances were applauded, some got the judges highly impressed, and guest judge, actor and designer Elikem Komoji could not hide his amazement.
It's the fact that you've got personality, you did your research, you looked the part, you're enjoying what you're doing, you're making us enjoy what you're doing. It's like a lot of things compiled, all coupled up in one. And it was pretty amazing watching you. And I was saying that I think you can win this show hands down.
As performances rounded up, 10-table magician Erica Tando, better known as DJ Swish, was awarded Star Performer of the Night. Singing sensation Nana Ifwa Praba took the award for Best Costume. Little Dancing Ladies, Lily's Dance Crew, picked Best Creative Arts, and music duo Nakel was awarded for Best Behaved in the Reality House. All 8 remaining contestants are through to the finale on May 7, 2017 at the National Theatre. Talented Kids, free to play.
Alrighty, so you know to book your tickets because it's happening at the National Theatre, 7th of May. Tell mommy, tell daddy you're on vacation so we know you're watching. Tell them to go and buy you tickets so you can go and see your friends out there. Moon, well,
I have my money on one of them, but I won't say.
Yeah,
I won't say. I've already placed the bet.
You really?
I really have.
Right? Who's?
He doesn't do that with his money.
No. Anyway, let's do a few messages here. It says, Nana, you're doing a great work. Greetings to Honorable Afenyo Marking. He is my role model and I really love him. I'm Joseph Busori from Volta region. Please help me. Okay, so you want lawyer Marking. Well, with the issue of Ibrahim Mohammed's check saga, what does the law state? In the first place, he's abused the law and the law must take its course. Messi is a very good player, but Zero is the best no matter what happens from Kusi in Ablekuma. Fighting Galamsey is a worthy cause, and Mr. Mahama Ibrahim must quickly pay the money to enable the hardworking teachers' arrears to be paid quickly. This is a must-do from Henschel. I feel your pressure. Good morning, sir. You people are doing a good job, but the NDC man is always out of the truth. Royal Kofi Ebua from Agona Abodom. Thank you. Hello, good morning. The government should put proper stop to Galamsey. Richard from Accra. Good morning, TV3. In fact, I enjoy Newday Power, but to Yao Fusulabi, your analysis is always on point. I salute you from Asimwa. And good morning, I'm Richard Tete from Commander Central Region, and I'm watching you live. Your program is so nice. Keep it up. Thank you. Well, we can't read all of it. Apologies for it, but we appreciate that you're able to send us your messages here on Newday. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Senior Bright, I see you're glancing. Are you going to court anytime soon? Because you're looking through the Galamsey Act.
He's long-sighted. He can't see a thing.
Oh, he's looking.
This is just very potential. What are you reading?
Look, Bright has been making notes. If he wasn't seeing, he wouldn't be making notes. I mean,
see if you can even read what he's written. It's not legible. It's a lot of.
I think that he is a doctor.
A lot of gibberish.
He's a doctor. We need a pharmacist.
We have an announcement to be made on Friday. It's an announcement that we have decided to keep to our chest until Friday.
Yeah.
So just stay with us.
Stay with us. You get to know about it. Yeah. Yes. It's okay. It's the Olympics and House of Hope. Derby. All right. See you guys later.
Yes.
Be good. Have a great Monday. And today is World Malaria Day for Ghana. So it's happening at the Accra International Conference Center.
Just kill a mosquito.
Yeah, kill a mosquito with a sledgehammer.